Most traders fail, not because they lack intelligence, nor because they haven't learned enough. The truth is, they stop too soon. You enter the market with a very simple belief that if you just learn enough, you will make money. You watch videos, you read materials, you study strategies, and at some point, you win a few trades, maybe a few days, just enough to make you believe, "Ah, I get it now." But then the market changes. Or maybe you start to change. You begin to doubt. You begin to fear. You begin to do things that you knew you shouldn't. And from there, everything slowly slips. Not because you lack knowledge, but because you have never learned how to go through each stage of yourself. Trading is not a skill you learn once and you're done. It is a journey where at each stage, you must become a different version of yourself. From innocence to confusion, from confusion to awareness, from awareness to discipline. And most people get stuck somewhere along that journey. They think they need another strategy, but what they truly lack is the ability to stay long enough to understand what they are going through. There is a truth that very few people tell you. You don't fail because the market is difficult. You fail because you haven't realized which stage you are in. And if you don't realize that, you will keep repeating the same mistakes under different names. So before you go and learn anything else, pause for a moment and ask yourself a very simple question. Where are you in this journey? And if you truly look back at your journey, you will see that everything almost always starts the same way. Not with discipline, but with illusion. That is the first stage. The stage that almost every trader goes through. Stage 1, innocence. You enter the market with a very beautiful belief that this is a place where you can make money quickly. That as long as you work hard enough, you will succeed. You see others showing their profits. You hear stories of life-changing gains, and you believe you can do it too. You open the chart. You enter trades. No plan, no system, no risk management. There is only one thing guiding you: emotion. The dangerous part is, at this stage, you might win a few trades, a few days. Not enough to make you rich, but enough to make you believe you are right. And at that exact moment, the trap begins to form. You start increasing your position size. You start trading more frequently. You begin to think you have talent. But the truth is, you don't understand anything yet. You don't understand the market. You don't understand risk. And most importantly, you don't understand yourself. Those early winning trades are not success. They are what make you careless. What make you believe this game is easy. And when the market starts to teach you back, you are not ready. You trade more to recover. You hold losses because you don't want to be wrong. You keep doing things you never learned. And then the result comes quickly. Not because the market is cruel, but because you are not ready. But this is what you need to understand. This stage is not wrong. It is necessary. Everyone goes through it. Everyone pays for it. The problem is not that you were once naive. The problem is whether you realize you are in it or not. Because if you don't, you will stay here for a very long time. Longer than you think. And every failure that comes after is just an extension of a naivety that you have never been willing to face. And then, after the initial illusions begin to break, you enter a completely different stage. No more blind confidence, but still no clarity. That is when you fall into stage 2, searching. You begin to realize one thing: trading is not as easy as you thought. Losing trades appear more often. Your account starts to erode. And for the first time, you begin to doubt yourself. But instead of stopping to understand the problem, you start looking for solutions outside. A new system, a new indicator, a better method. You read everything you can, watch every video you can, listen to people who seem to know what they're doing. You think that if you just find the right thing, everything will change. But what you don't realize is, you are not searching for the truth. You are searching for certainty. You want something that tells you, just do this and you will win. And because of that, you keep changing. Today you trade price action. Tomorrow you switch to indicators. The day after, you try a completely different system. You are not wrong for learning, but you are wrong in how you learn. You don't give any method enough time to prove its value. You only keep it until it loses, and then you abandon it. Not because it doesn't work, but because you cannot tolerate the feeling of uncertainty. This is the biggest trap of this stage. You think you are making progress, but in reality, you are just moving in circles. You know more, but you are not better. You understand more, but you don't make money. And then a thought begins to appear. Maybe trading is not for me. Or worse, maybe everyone who makes money is lying. But that is not the truth. The truth is, you are standing very close to a turning point. You just don't realize it yet. Because this stage is not meant for you to find what works. It is meant for you to realize that nothing works all the time. And if you don't understand that, you will stay in stage 2 for a very long time. Maybe a few months, maybe a few years, until you become tired enough to stop searching outside and start looking back at yourself. And then, if you don't give up in that searching stage, something very strange begins to happen. It's not that you find a perfect system. It's that you begin to stop searching. That is when you reach stage 3, awakening. Not loud, not explosive, just a very small moment, but enough to completely change the way you see trading. You begin to realize that no one truly knows where the market will go. Not doesn't know clearly, but no one knows for sure. And for the first time, you accept that. You are no longer obsessed with being right. No longer trying to find a system that never loses. You begin to understand that each trade is just a probability. Winning is a possibility. Losing is also a possibility. And the only thing you can control is not the outcome, but the risk. This is the turning point. You no longer look at individual trades. You begin to look at a long series. A losing trade no longer makes you panic. A winning trade no longer excites you. You begin to detach yourself from emotions, not because you are stronger, but because you understand. Emotions don't make you money. You choose a system, not because it is perfect, but because you decide to stick with it long enough. You start placing stop losses, and for the first time, you keep them. You begin to accept small losses, to avoid large losses. It sounds simple, but for someone who used to try controlling everything, this is a very big shift. And right here, many people stop again, not because they don't understand, but because they cannot tolerate uncertainty. They want to go back to the feeling of knowing what they are doing. They want something clearer, more comfortable. But if you stay, if you continue to accept that you cannot predict the market, then you will begin to enter a different level, where trading is no longer a game of ego, but a game of discipline and probability. And from here, everything truly begins. And if you don't turn back at that stage of awakening, if you are calm enough to accept that you cannot control the market, you will step into a very different stage. It is no longer about understanding. It is about doing. That is when you reach stage 4, conscious discipline. Everything now is no longer new, no longer complicated. You already know what you should do. But for the first time, You actually start doing what you know. You enter trades when there is a signal, not when you feel like entering. You place a stop loss, and you don't move it. You accept losses, not because you like losing, but because you understand it is part of the game. This is a very strange stage. You no longer lose in stupid ways like before, but you are not making big money yet either. Some days you win, some days you lose. Some weeks you are almost break even. In the past, you would panic. You would think you were going in the wrong direction. But now, you don't react that way anymore. You begin to understand that making money immediately is not the only sign of progress. Sometimes, not losing money is already a very big step forward. You start to see your old mistakes more clearly. The times you entered based on emotion, the times you broke your plan out of fear, and you realize they don't appear as often anymore. Not because the market has changed, but because you have changed how you respond. But this is also the most challenging stage, because it is very boring. No more quick wins. No more trades that make your heart race. There is only one thing left: repetition, discipline, and waiting. Many people stop here, not because they cannot go further, but because they cannot tolerate normalcy. They want excitement. They want fast results. And so they break everything they have built. But if you stay, if you keep doing the right things, even when no one is watching, then you are getting very close to a state that very few people reach, where trading is no longer a battle, but becomes a controlled habit. And from there, you don't just survive anymore. You begin to become consistent. And when you have gone through the stage of conscious discipline, when you no longer have to force yourself to do the right thing, something very different begins to appear. You no longer have to think too much before each trade. No longer have to fight internally every time price goes against you. Everything becomes lighter. That is when you enter stage 5, unconscious competence. Not because you know more, but because you have repeated enough. What used to be rules have now become reflexes. You no longer have to remind yourself to place a stop loss. You do it automatically. You no longer have to try not to revenge trade. You simply don't do it. You are no longer pulled by every candle. You see the market like a familiar flow. And the interesting part is, when you get here, trading starts to become very boring. No more excitement. No more trades that make your heart race. It's just work. Repeated every day. Observe. Wait. Act when needed. Then stop. It sounds dull, but that dullness is actually a sign of maturity, because you are no longer trading to feel something. You trade to execute the process correctly. You are no longer obsessed with each winning or losing trade. You look at results by the week, by the month. You understand that one losing trade means nothing, but a sequence of correct behaviors means everything. This is a place very few people reach, not because it is too hard to understand, but because it requires you to go through all the previous stages without giving up. You had to be naive. You had to be confused. You had to search. You had to be disappointed. And most importantly, you had to be patient enough to stay until one day you realize you are no longer trying to become a great trader. You are simply a person who does the right thing every day, quietly, without showing off, but consistently. And in a market where most people disappear very quickly, just by still being here, you are already different. And when you reach the stage where everything becomes simple, you begin to look back at your entire journey with a very different perspective. You used to think trading was a game of speed. Whoever is faster wins. But now you understand It is a game of patience. You used to think money comes from doing more, entering more trades, reacting faster. But reality is the opposite. Beginners always feel like they have to do something. They have to enter trades. They have to be present in the market. But those who go far are not obsessed with action. They are obsessed with timing. This is a paradox that very few people accept. The less you do, the less you make mistakes. And when you make fewer mistakes, money starts to stay. Not because you are more talented, but because you stop sabotaging yourself. You no longer chase the market like before. No longer react to every small movement. You know how to stay out. You know how to pass. You know how to wait. And in a world where everyone wants to be fast, the one who knows how to slow down goes the furthest. That is when you understand. Trading has never been a battle with the market. It is a battle with your own habits. And then, after everything, you return to something very simple. Not a new strategy, not some hidden secret, but a decision. Stop searching. Stop blaming. Stop hoping that one day the market will become easier, and start taking responsibility for every trade you enter, for every mistake you repeat, for every decision you know is wrong, but still make. Because in the end, the market does not change for you, but you can change how you exist within it. And if there is only one thing you need to carry with you, it is this: you don't need to beat the market. You only need to not lose to yourself.